In this lesson, we'll learn about setting up a slideshow. And this is for when your presentation is complete, when your slideshow is complete and you are ready to present it. There are a couple of things that you might want to do to prepare it and get it ready for your presentation. So click on the slideshow tab, and we've got a lot of different options here for getting our slideshow ready for presentation. And so this is the preview or start from beginning button. You can also use your F5 key. It's the exact same button that may be in your quick access toolbar here. So here we can click from the beginning and look at our slideshow and click through one at a time to make sure that it looks the way that we want it to look when it's presented. All right, I'm going to go ahead and press the escape key. Get back to our main window. We can also start our slideshow from a current slide. So if we're all the way on slide number 9, for example, and click from current slide to preview the presentation from that particular slide. We can also set up our slideshow. So when you click the Setup Slideshow button, we have some options here. So we can decide whether we want this to be presented by a speaker on a full screen or browsed by an individual on a window. This is a good option if you're sending your presentation via email, or if the presentation is going to be browsed at a kiosk. You can decide whether the presentation is going to be looped continuously. This is a great option for photographs that you want to display and have them cycle through and keep looping. You can show your presentation with or without narration, with or without animation. You can also choose your default pen colors here and your laser pointer colors if you're going to be using those during your presentation. You can choose to show all of your slides or just a particular number from 1 to 8. And you can choose whether or not to show a custom show, which we'll cover in a future lesson here. We can choose to advance the slides manually, or if we've used timings, to use those. And we're going to go ahead and click OK. If there's a particular slide that we don't want to view during our presentation, we can hide it. So let's say, for example, we want to hide slide number 8. Make sure slide number 8 is selected and click Hide Slide. And you'll see that that slide becomes grayed out and the number 8 is crossed out as a visual to show you that that slide will not be shown during your presentation. And so if we want to test this, we can go to the slide before it, and let's note that that's the area chart example. And then the next slide to pop up should be the audio slide. So let's click from current slide for our preview, and it shows us our area chart example and then our audio slide. Go ahead and press the escape key. And now I'm going to select slide number 8 again and unhide it just by toggling off the Hide Slide button. And I'm going to go back up and select the first slide in my presentation. Now this is a great option here for practicing and rehearsing your timings so that when you go to make your presentation that you have already rehearsed and you already have a good idea of how long to spend on each slide and how long your entire presentation might take. So if you have a time limit for your presentation, say you've got 5 minutes, you want to make sure that you rehearse your presentation beforehand to ensure that you can get all of the information covered with the amount of time that you have. So we're going to go ahead and click the Rehearse Timings button. And what this is going to do is this is going to bring up a recording window in the upper right hand corner of your screen. And you'll notice as I advanced to the next slide, it'll show how much time has been spent on the current slide in the white box, and then here in the little gray area it shows how much time has elapsed for the entire presentation. So this gives you a good idea of how to prepare for your timings in your presentation. I'm going to go ahead and click Close. And you have a window that shows up that says what the total time for your slideshow was and whether or not you want to save that. I'm going to go ahead and click No. And here are some options here. You can play the narrations, use the timings, and show the media controls or not on your presentation. And this is a great option here as well. Use presenter view. So if you have a dual screen setup during your presentation, you can have this option checked on and have your presentation showing on one of your monitors and a speaker notes view on another monitor. The other great thing is if you don't have a dual monitor set up, you can use this on a single monitor just by pressing Alt F5, which I'm going to do. Alt F5, and now we see on our screen the presenter view. So here on the left, the larger side of the screen, it shows what your audience will see, and on the right hand side it gives information that the presenter will need to know what the next slide is. If there are any notes applied, you'll see those here. You can make the text larger or smaller if it is easier to see, and you also have here in your main view, you have your annotation options here. You can see all slides at once or go back. You can zoom in. This is a great feature too. You can make your entire screen black if it's time for the audience to focus on something else during the presentation. If you need them to focus on just you talking, you can black out that particular slide and then turn it back on whenever you're ready. And you also have a counter here that shows how much time has elapsed during the presentation. And that concludes our lesson on setting up a slideshow.